This screencast is about the idea of cell theory. Cells are the building blocks of living things. Ooh, here's a white blood cell, and look over there. Choo, it's grabbing that bacteria and just pulling it in. So what would you call that? Endocytosis or exocytosis? Which one is that? Yeah, a little active transport, a little endocytosis, engulfing those bacteria and eating them. So here's some actual live footage of a cell eating some yeast. So the red is the yeast. Watch this cell here in the middle engulfed it, just engulfing that fluorescent red yeast. So cells, cell theory. So we've been thinking about this for a long time, hundreds of years. So if you remember Van Leeuwenhoek and those guys, they've been thinking about that for a long time. So we've got Hooke, Leeuwenhoek, Schleiden, Schwann, Virchow, and another guy who we got to give him some credit too. So what about Hooke? So I know in that short video we watched, there was a lot of talk about Leeuwenhoek, but actually Robert Hooke started looking at material, in the 1660s. Published his book Micrographia, and he looked at just about everything that he possibly could think of, and he drew pictures of them. Here's a picture of some cork, and here's where he coined that term cell. So now you and I throw that word around all the time. And then there's Van Leeuwenhoek. And what did he? Well, he's got this really powerful microscope, can magnify things 500 times. He's drawing animalcules and wee beasties and going toe-to-toe with the Royal Society of London. Skip forward to the 1800s, and we've got Matthias Schleiden, who's drawing pictures of plants, and he comes to the conclusion that, all plants are made of cells. So we go from the late 1600s to 1800s, middle 19th century, 1838, and he says that plants are made of cells. Then we skip forward a little bit, another dude by the name of Theodor Schwann, and he finally figures out that, animals are made of cells too. They have dinner. They said pretty much everything is made of cells. The idea, though, of where our cells coming from still yet to be determined. Your textbook gives credit to this guy, Rudolf Virchow, with the idea that all cells come from other cells. Actually, he stole the idea from a guy by the name of Robert Remak, who, having to do with his religiosity, he was a Jewish fellow and just kind of out of favor with the academics at that time, did not get credit. And actually, Virchow published his findings. He published Remak's findings and kind of stole the thunder. But it was actually Remak that did some work with, he did it with frog embryos. He watched frogs developing and watched cells come from cells actually in real time. So, what is the cell theory? There's three basic parts. Number one, organisms are composed of cells. Number two is existing cells are produced from other living cells. And then finally, some things that scientists seem to be pretty set on is that the cell is the most basic unit of a living thing. But we still call it a theory because there's that business of viruses. We're not really quite sure where they fit in all of this. So, cell theory. Hope that helps.